Renters continue the struggle here trying to make ends meet in Utah.
New tonight, 3 things you might not know about renting. Asking rents in the Salt Lake City metro area have fallen by 6.5% over the last year, and that's one of the biggest drops in the country. More than a third of renters say they've lived in the same home for at least 5 years.
But renting is still expensive, with just over 1 in 5 renters saying all of their primary income goes towards paying rent. That's according to real estate company Redfin. And if you are struggling to cover rent, advocates say don't give up here.
News specialist Daniel Woodruff shares ideas and resources as KSL helps you bust inflation.
Rachel Alphin knows what it's like to rent.
It's kind of a pain.
She and her husband live with their baby at Y-Mount in Provo, which houses BYU students. They pay $940 a month.
We're on probably the cheapest end of what you can get around here.
But for them, it's a lot. Her husband is a student and works part-time, so rent takes up basically their entire paycheck. They try to get by on food stamps, Medicaid for health insurance, and government Pell Grants. Theirs is not an uncommon story. Many Utahns struggle to pay rent, says Sahil Oberoi with the nonprofit Utah Community Action.
Unfortunately, there's a huge need out there right now.
His organization offers money for people who need help paying rent, but there's not nearly enough.
We're getting about 1,200 applications a month. But based on our funding levels, we can help around 100 to 120.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, the state distributed hundreds of millions of dollars in emergency rent relief to tenants and landlords. But that money is basically gone.
With the housing market and how expensive rents have gotten, we have not been able to really keep up with the demand that we are seeing within our community.
Absent more government funding, this nonprofit does what it can, steering tenants toward utility assistance programs to help pay for heat and acting as a mediator between tenants and landlords to try to keep them in their homes.
Because at the end of the day, it is really expensive to evict a person. So landlords will work with you to make sure they can do their best to keep you in the unit because it's more cost effective for them.
Getting evicted, he says, can also make it very hard to find new housing. That's why for renters who are struggling, he has one big piece of advice.
Talk to your landlord. That is probably the best thing you can do, is make them aware of the situation.
Across town, Margot Drager works at another nonprofit, Community Development Corporation of Utah. They partner with Salt Lake City to run a tenant resource center, which just opened in October.
We are seeing it be really difficult for tenants to find affordable housing.
She says her organization provides free financial coaching for families needing to improve their credit or their budgets. Workers also help connect renters with resources, apply for assistance, and file complaints. There's also some money available for tenants in Salt Lake City who are in an emergency situation and have to move. Back at Y-Mount, Rachel figures her family will be renting for quite a while. Her husband graduates soon, but then it's off for a PhD, somewhere to be determined.
I think a big consideration, our decision will be kind of cost of living.
Trying to make that monthly rent payment just a little less painful.
Times are tough right now and just everyone's in a tight spot. There's not a lot of options.
Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Daniel, that is helpful. Thank you. We've linked to some resources to help renters on our website at ksltv.com and on the KSL Plus app. Download that for free.